everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with part 18 of our MotoGP 24 Let's Play. Yes, we return this weekend to the BUDDH International for the Grand Prix of India. Yes, for those of you that were Formula 1 fans or still are hopefully Formula 1 fans, you might remember this circuit back on the F1 calendar between I think it was 2011 and 2013. Sebastian Vettel won all three races around this circuit, but since then it's kind of retransformed itself as a home of motorbike racing. I must admit, I'm looking forward to driving on it. I haven't been to this venue in a long time on any game. I think this would be a fantastic track to come to iRacing, though, in the near future as well. But, of course, if you're new, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. I can confirm, starting next Tuesday, we're going to be back with more of the F1 Manager Let's Play as well. A massive thank you to you guys for the support on that series early on. I went back to Frontier. I showed them just how many views and comments we were getting. And they have now said, yeah, I'll be able to get that game ever so slightly early to make sure I've got loads of content lined up for you when the game does fully release. Taking a look, though, at our championship standings. Tayo Furusato currently still at the top of the table. It's getting to the point now where it's not going to be long before we are mathematically out of the championship hunt with just 7 rounds to go of the season. We are still in P5, 2 points back from Jose Antonio Rueda after a ridiculous last lap scrap with our fellow rider last weekend. Other standings, Vietti with a 23-point lead over Agura, and then in the MotoGP class, it is Jorge Martin still with a small lead over Francesco Bagnaia. So it's actually Moto3 that has been the most dominated by one rider so far this year. Can we return, though, to at least the podium this weekend? I'm still gunning for P3 in the championship.
Hello from the BUDDH circuit. We're live for the second practice session in the Moto3 class. Only the first 14 riders in the combined standings will go directly to Q2. All the others will have to fight for the 4 remaining places in Q1.
Here we are then, returning to the BUDDH International Circuit. Like I said, I haven't driven this track in probably close to 10 years at this point. And obviously we know that, well, Formula 1 games back then and MotoGP games apparently still now don't have the most accurate racetracks in the world. There is certainly definitely still a little bit left to be desired, as that is immediately not the line through the first corner. These first couple of laps, of course, are just going to have to be sighters, as immediately our teammate right up behind me. Always remember this horrible hairpin, and it's terrible on a motorbike. Well, it would appear down at turn 4, the game wants me to brake genuinely about twice as early for the corner as I need to, so I guess we're really going to have to try and work out my own marker for that. Oh, okay, this track's different. We don't go through the fast chicane there on the outside of the corner. I guess we've only got to deal with the second one, but yeah, this was the part of the BUDDH circuit that was so entertaining when Formula 1 used to come here. I mean, this place absolutely deserved a go with the monstrous high downforce cars of later generations. Yes, I've fallen off. Yes, I'm rewinding. It's free practice. It doesn't matter all too much. But you can just see on the outside, though, that was obviously the layout that the Formula 1 cars used to take as well. So it is a bit of a different circuit that we're riding today. Well, my guess then is top times are going to be around the 2-minute mark. There we go. Holgado is immediately set 2:02. So turn 1, you've got to brake earlier than the game predicts. Turn 4, you've got to brake later. I must admit, the racing line is kind of more of a rough recommendation than anything set in stone on this game. That was something that we really struggled with at Misano last weekend, and basically took us until the race until we worked it all out. I mean, look at this. The line's already gone red. Line has already gone red. We normally have to brake just before it. At least I guess the reference marker is going to be the curb then on the outside of that corner. But it's just, how is something like that not fixed before the game releases? I think it just can't work itself out in really high speed sections. As again, not quite getting the line right through there. Well, I've got to also admit, one of the things I've really found fun so far on this game, and it's kind of a bit of an odd thing, I'm sure to say, is actually learning how to try and find time on a motorbike as well, of course. Normally, where I'm so used to racing cars, you know, I do it every single day, it's my job. You know, I kind of get on, and I can normally find most of the pace I need within a few laps. In MotoGP, it really doesn't work like that for me, as proven there, and it's really good fun. Oh no, rain's starting to fall. Rain is starting to fall. This might be a critical last lap improvement for me. A 2:01.2 puts us up inside the top 5. Really big lap right at the end. But I don't think we're going to see times continue to improve. I'm certainly not doing that. Well, there we go at the end of free practice. One of the bizarre sessions of this season. Free practice 3 times, well, quicker in some instances than free practice 2 times for a lot of separate riders there. We do make it through, though, into Q2 on a 2:01.2 there. Like I said, we're going to see Furusato or Suzuki dip into the 159s. I think that's going to be the goal for everybody.
Welcome back, all you MotoGP fans. We're live for the second Moto3 qualifying session. Just a few more minutes and we'll find out which riders will start from the front of the grid in tomorrow's race.
Well, we're only going to have enough time here in qualifying to get 6 or 7 laps on the board, so that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Get as many as we possibly can, set some good times. Track seems to be a lot better condition than it has been all weekend up to now, so hopefully we're going to see times continue to tumble. But yeah, first lap is just about going to try and get the benchmark, spotting all of our braking points. Luckily now I've learned most of them around here seemingly are just at curbs, which is quite nice, because a lot of different reference markers on this game, especially obviously when I'm so used to a Formula 1 car. It's certainly a big learning curve. There is plenty of curve at the top of the hill. That corner, every time you're hanging on to the handlebars. We've already got another rider down. I think that is Adrian Fernandez. We run wide through the final corner. Trying to check on the live timing who that was. Just made a little bit of a mistake there. Lucky not to get our lap invalidated as we roll on the throttle then out of the final corner. Hasn't felt like a world-beating lap time, but has been pretty clean and tidy, so will hopefully serve as a good benchmark. 2:01.8, though, is about a second slower than what we achieved in free practice. Well, there we go. Joel Esteban has immediately gone and obliterated my lap time. A 2:04 for his first run. I think we got Tayo Furusato and Suzuki, though, down in towards the final few turns. We get back within a second of Joel at the front, still 8 tenths away. And again, I've got to sent it too deep through turn 1. Luckily, just remembering how to keep the car just inside the limits of grip. The bike even on the inside of the limit of grip. Otherwise, I'm going to find myself facing the sky and then eating tarmac. Furusato, a 2:09. He is flying. Well, in case you weren't aware, you're currently in the UK. We're experiencing yet another heat wave where I live. That's alright when I'm on a steering wheel. Of course, I'm wearing gloves and everything like that. On a controller, though, it is incredibly slippery and slidey, which is not ideal at all. We're just going to run wide there. Somehow track limits will let us get away with it that time round. But yeah, struggling to grip onto the controller. I wonder if any of the other riders are having that issue. Well, I reckon if I absolutely nailed it, there's close to another second on this lap. Not convinced we could beat Furusato, but I am very much convinced I could get close to him here. It is such a precision-based circuit. I don't think I've really experienced much like it on this game. Really has seemed to have saved most of the difficult tracks towards the end of the year, which is quite a unique challenge. I'm having one of those very annoying sessions where there's at least another half a second in the table on the second half of the lap. Unfortunately, my personal best so far, I absolutely nailed the first sector. This is the closest I've been, but it is just such a difficult track to try and get it all hooked up in one fluid motion. See, again, braking just too early down the end of the straight. You can get away with a lot of entry curb, though, which finds us another 10th. Well, this might be our last big improvement we see as we round our way through the final couple of corners. Just try and make sure that we keep that those wheels inside the track limits. Braking nice and tidy for that final corner as well. And try and roll on the throttle as early as we can. It's going to be another 6/10 improvement. I don't think it's going to move us any higher up the order, but it is going to bring us closer to our top 3 overall. We go within 8 tenths, within 3/4 of a second of our top rider. But yeah, it just gives me a bit of breathing room from the riders behind. Well, there we go. I believe that's at least the top 5 on the grid are exactly the same as their championship order. I guess with the exception of myself and Rueda then. But yeah, Tayo Furusato, the only rider into the 59s. Joel Esteban, Tatsuki Suzuki, not too far behind him. If we can keep up with them on lap 1, we might have a chance to fight.
Good morning from India. We are live from the BUDDH circuit, where a thrilling day of motorcycle racing awaits us. Just a few more moments and we'll switch to the starting straight for the Moto3 class race. After a long weekend, the race is finally about to start. We're on the starting grid where the engineers are completing their checks before the off. The weather is clear and temperatures are far from extreme. However, tyre wear will play a very important factor in today's race. That's why lots of riders have been using medium tyres in the front and rear.
Taking a look then, yep, that's exactly what we're going to be doing as well. Medium tyres on both ends of the bike. Ready for this one? I'm looking forward to it. I think if we can survive, we can try and put ourselves in a good position here. We need to be ahead of Rueda in the standings. We need a top 5 finish as well, so the team will still have faith in us, despite the fact we're doing better than our teammate over the course of the campaign. My best qualifying session in a while. Let's try and utilise it.
We're ready for the lights to go out here at the BUDDH circuit. Just a few moments more and the race will start.
Well, here we go then, ready on the grid. We need to try and beat Tyre Furusato today if we want to maintain any championship hopes. It is 10 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go then. Not off to a particularly good start, but when do I ever get a good one here on this game? Down in towards turn 1. I want to take it nice and easy and try to avoid other riders as best as possible there. A little bit of a slide on the exit of the corner, and I think honestly as we make our way up into turn 2, I just want to get to the inside of the circuit, avoid the dive bombs coming in. So you can see Riccardo Rossi, I mean he's known for a good old dive bomb, isn't he, inside this series? Luckily this time round decides to play it pretty safe there, as slipstreaming from our team at Holgado as we make our way down this monstrous back straight. Surely going to be one of the longest on the entire calendar there. We'll have a look to the outside of our teammate. Definitely have got a little bit more straight line speed, as braking just before the curbing down in towards the next corner. It's a wide open apex for this next turn. As you can see Holgado trying to utilise that, but not quite as effectively as us. Down the inside, we'll switch him off the corner there. Top 3 though, still battling it out with each other rather aggressively on lap 1 as Angel Paqueras trying not to lose sight of our top 3 runners either. Joel Esteban down the inside of Suzuki. I mean, if we had to pick one of them to beat today, sensibly, I think it would have to be Suzuki. But I would love to try and get the better of Furusato, as that's probably the best line I've taken through that chicane all weekend. Why couldn't I have done that ever in qualifying? Is trying to go nice and high on the entry, use the camber on the exit of the corner. A little bit too much extra speed there, and we won't be able to capitalise off Paqueras. The inside will look, though, on the Leopard rider. Down the inside will go. Up into P4 then by the end of lap 1, so we haven't lost, we haven't gained anything in the end. Like I've said though, there's a bit of a weird phenomenon on this game where riders in front of you seem to be quicker, so we need to try and get back with Esteban and Suzuki sooner rather than later. 1 lap of 6 survived though here from BUDDH. Well, let's see what times then our top 3 riders are able to do come the end of lap 2. Furusato still out in front, so we're just trying to find again the limits of grip around this circuit. Where can we find anything? I mean, how on earth? We're all quicker once we move into the race rather than what we can do in qualifying. I don't quite get how that works, but top 3 are really pushing, and I'm just desperate to keep up. I mean, this is still such a strange phenomenon in this game, the way it kind of works at the moment, and especially with how we seem to be able to keep up through some parts of the lap with the top runners, and then it's just other parts we absolutely lose everything to them. But I mean, there's a reason why these 3 riders are the top 3 in the championship. It's just annoying the fact I just never feel, even when I'm nailing it, that I can even close in on them. I mean, look at that at the final corner. We got a better run, and I'm still going to lose a 1/10.5 to Joel Esteban. I mean, can you set up these bikes to have more speed down the straights? Is that something that's possible on a MotoGP, on a Moto3 bike? Can we, you know, will less aero make that big a difference? I mean, look at the delta just climbing. I get that Esteban is in slipstream at the moment, but when they're battling like that and able to pull away down the straights, they're not fighting in the corners, so I've got no chance to catch back up. That's not the ideal line through there. Yeah, I think a warning is probably justified. Well, I've got to be careful of the track limit warnings here, because I have no idea where the long lap penalty is around this circuit. I think it's out of the final corner, is it? Obviously, that just takes you down into the pit lane. Is it round the back half of the lap? I can't really tell, to be honest. I'm trying to look on the mini-map. Unfortunately, now my camera completely blocks it. But 2 laps to go. We're losing time to the riders in front, but still pulling out over a second lap on the riders behind. I mean, the fact we've got time to fall off and still come out right with Rueda Kind of tells you everything you should need to know. I'll be honest, I'll take a fight with just about anybody late on in the day. As trying to get down the inside of our big title rival. I mean, we need to make sure we outscore him here. To make sure that we walk away still, well, tied with him, we would be in the championship. So around the outside we'll go. Angel Paqueras as well. Try and weave to his inside off the corner. I mean, look at that. How in just over 4 laps have our top riders got an 8-second lead at the top of the table. I mean, it's just utterly bizarre, isn't it? As I'm so sorry. I don't know who that was. I think it was Ortiz. But he's now out of the race. Somehow I'm not getting investigated. And I did even throw up my hand and admit that was probably my fault. Still battling then with Paqueras and Rueda here as we're about to start the last lap of the race. You can see Paqueras there took way too much curb through that final corner. I mean, are we going to see these two suddenly improve their pace as well? If things were to finish like this, we would maintain P5 in the championship, but we would lose ground to our big rival in Rueda here. Just starting to worry that, Tatsuki Suzuki seems to have found the magic he had early on in the campaign. And maybe a P4 finish in the championship is going to be the best we're going to be able to muster up here. Suzuki's run of form has been like we haven't seen all season from him, but I think it might still be Furusato that is likely to take the win here today. Once again, though, seems to be those two that are going to be having a late race battle here as Paqueras trying to have a look down the inside of Rueda down the back straight. That's going to be a fairly simple move done for him. We're going to try and break late on that outside curbing. Tuck the bike in for a late apex. We can see how many other riders somehow able to capitalise on that. You can see these two, though, again. Look at that, both of them weaving around, trying to make sure the other gives them room. Paqueras makes it back through once again. Come on, we've got to try and find something. We've got to try and find something through these final few corners there as Paqueras again down the inside of Rueda. Are we going to be able to get a late apex and maybe try and get a run right on the outside of Paqueras? Will go. Rueda, I think, spots me, but we'll get to the inside of yet another of our rivals. This one really, really critical, though, as we'll try and fling it through in a beautiful double overtake late on in the day. We have lost so much time to our top 3 riders here right towards the end, but honestly, I do not care. Tatsuki Suzuki, though, I think it is going to be once again our P3 rider who is going to move up and take yet another victory here late on in the championship. Furusato comes through for P2. It is P3 for Joel Esteban, but we beat out Rueda. It is going to be another P4 finish.
Let's take a look at the final results of this Moto3 race. The riders are returning to the pits and will soon join them in Parc Ferme for the usual post-race interviews.
Well, how all of our top 3 were able to go at least 3/10 faster than they managed in qualifying when they got into the race, I'm not really sure how that works. But for us, it's P4 in the end, P4 on the grid, P4 at the end of the race. We had the 4th fastest lap time. Ultimately, if we'd finished anywhere else other than P4, it would have been a little bit weird there. But Suzuki from Furusato, Esteban, myself, Paqueras, Rueda, Colin Via, Holgado, Ralston, and Zuratuza rounding out our top 10 there. That means in terms of the championship, 1 point in it between ourselves and Rueda, and with 6 rounds to go, it is basically all but decided that we are not in the championship fight there. Suzuki back within 20 points, though, of Joel Esteban, so that's certainly a fight to watch out for between now and the end of the campaign. There is both of the Gas riders able to make up places in the championship as well. Constructors-wise, we are still in P5. We are 7 points back from KTM Aho as well. I'm not really sure. I think it's just the best rider result of the weekend. Kind of defines the points in this series. It's a little bit peculiar. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back next time out, as I think we're heading to Indonesia at a track I've never seen or heard of.